Hello and a very warm welcome back to Living Well in France. Those of you who watch this channel will know that I live in Normandy, and that's just a 2-hour train ride from Paris. And recently I hopped on a train and spent 24 hours in our capital city. I didn't plan anything though. All I did was book a hotel, and the rest I left to chance. So in today's video, I'll share what I discovered by following my heart through Paris. This is my favourite way to travel. No plans, no appointments, no stress, just discovery. And I was reminded why this city continues to capture hearts from all around the world. My friend Marie and I arrived from Normandy into Saint-Lazare station, and from there our little Parisian adventure began. And honestly, where better to stay in Paris than right beneath the Eiffel Tower? Some places never lose their magic. Stepping out at Saint-Lazare always feels like arriving in the middle of a story. The rush of commuters, the old station architecture, the sudden excitement of Paris all around me. From here I hopped onto the metro and headed over to the 15th arrondissement, because if it's your first visit or your 50th, I still believe the Eiffel Tower deserves the first hello. And there she is, the Eiffel Tower. No matter how many times you've seen it in photographs, standing underneath it feels magical. My recommendation? Don't rush. Take your time. Find one of the little food trucks in the gardens at the foot of the tower and order a crêpe complète. Freshly made in front of you, with ham, cheese and eggs. It'll keep you going until dinner. Then sit for a few minutes. Watch the families, the school parties, the tourists. Listen to the languages around you and just enjoy being here. Paris rewards slow travellers. Then we decided to take a gentle stroll across the bridge to the Trocadéro, directly across the Seine from the Eiffel Tower, which allowed us to admire her beauty from afar and check out the bateau mouche on the Seine.
We haven't made a plan, we're just mooching around really, just taking in whatever presents itself to us. And so far, it's been very nice. We had a very nice crêpe complet. And we're just going to go and get some really good shots of the Eiffel Tower for you.
This is the Palais de Chaillot and contains the Museum of Humankind, the Architecture and Heritage Museum and the National Theatre. Written in gold on the side you can read "Tout homme crée sans le savoir, comme il respire. Mais l'artiste se sent créer. Son acte engage tout son être. Sa peine bien-aimée le fortifie." Roughly translated, this means every person creates without knowing it as he breathes, but the artist feels himself creating. His act engages his whole being. His dearly loved labour strengthens him. Yep, I can relate to that. This is where everyone comes for that photograph, and it's worth it. You have the Eiffel Tower standing proudly behind you, fountains below, people celebrating birthdays, anniversaries and bucket list moments. There's something very joyful about this spot. From here, it only felt right to head towards the Champs-Élysées. A city reveals itself slowly, not through its famous landmarks, but in the quiet corners between them. The places locals protect like secrets and travellers often miss because they're already rushing towards the next point on the map. Sometimes the best Paris moments happen between destinations. As we approached the Champs-Élysées, we found ourselves drawn into a beautiful hotel called Le Cinq, a place that seemed to embody effortless Parisian chic. Everything from the soft lighting to the quiet luxury felt unmistakably Paris. Of course, a single night here would set you back around 2,500 €, so we admired it briefly, then carried on dreaming. Coming out of the hotel, we turned a corner and stepped straight onto the Champs-Élysées. The avenue unfolded before us in perfect symmetry. The wide boulevard, glowing storefronts, and the quiet confidence of old-world luxury. There was a cinematic feeling to it, like Paris reminding you exactly why it has captivated people for centuries. As we sipped a much-needed coffee and watched the world go by, we got a reminder that the stereotype of rude Parisian waiters couldn't be further from the truth.
You can finish, we make you chicken and you have dessert for free. I'll walk around like no, well, you will take dessert, don't worry. It's nothing like coffee and dessert, we pay for you. With pleasure. Sorry for this. Sorry.
After sitting back and watching the world go by for a while in true Parisian style, we walked up the Champs-Élysées to the Arc de Triomphe. Commissioned in 1806 by Napoleon, the monument honours those who fought and died for France. Walking down the Champs-Élysées, I was impressed by the wonderfully stylish Parisians who somehow look effortlessly chic.
The number one thing I've noticed walking down the Champs-Élysées is constant, waves of expensive perfume. That seems to be the main smell here. Different expensive perfumes from posh French ladies.
After walking the Champs-Élysées, we stopped off for a well-deserved ice cream and then arrived at the Place de la Concorde to admire the refreshing fountains.
Oh, I just want to jump in. Eventually, the avenue opens into one of my favourite parts of the city, the Jardin des Tuileries. The green chairs dotted around where people simply sit and enjoy life. We walked under another magnificent arc and then came face to face with the iconic Musée du Louvre. Most people think immediately of the Mona Lisa, but I found another little piece of history fascinating. We all heard about the recent theft of jewels here. But did you know that in 1792, some of the crown jewels of France that were stored here were also stolen? Diamonds, sapphires and rubies, many of which were never recovered. We crossed over the road and we walked down onto the river's edge. This became one of my favourite parts of the day. Just walking back towards the 15th and 16th arrondissement. The river on one side, the bridges, the boats, the light reflecting on the water, and the people sitting having a picnic or an aperitif by the Seine. Paris by foot really is the best way to do it. There's just so many gorgeous details that you just wouldn't see any other way. That evening we found a wonderful restaurant just 2 minutes walk from the hotel, which was a very good thing as we had no energy left by then. My friend Marie and I both opted for a delicious Caesar salad, but then we were faced with the almost impossible task of choosing a dessert. Oh, wow.
Okay.
What would you recommend?
Okay, we have these options and we have two: creme brulee, profiteroles, and chocolate mousse and ice cream. Okay.
Wonderful.
Here we have lemon pie meringue. Okay. Millefeuille is my favorite. It's 1,000 layers.
Yes.
And inside is a vanilla cream and the raspberries.
Fabulous.
Macarons with raspberry pie. Okay. And here it's typical French. The name is Les Paris-Brest.
We both thought we'd struggle to finish the desserts, but they completely vanished in no time at all. We honestly didn't stand a chance. I'd highly recommend this restaurant called the Bouchon Parisienne in the 15th arrondissement, right next to the Eiffel Tower and really reasonably priced. For For this trip, we stayed at the Hotel Mercure Centre Tour Eiffel, and if you're looking for convenience, it's hard to beat. It certainly wasn't the most beautiful of buildings, and it was looking rather tired inside for a 4-star hotel. However, breakfast was lovely. Fresh pastries, fruit, cheeses, breads, coffee, eggs, everything you need to get you ready for your next day in Paris. And it was exactly the kind of slow French morning I was hoping for. No rushing, no hurry, just easing into the day. And the coffee was especially good. In the morning, we took a leisurely boat ride along the Seine on the Bateau Mouche, and I can't recommend this enough. Your legs will be tired after having walked the previous day, so sitting down and watching Paris go by, enjoying a cool breeze coming off the Seine, will feel lovely. Paris looks completely different from the water. The bridges, the architecture, and the little details that you miss from the streets. It feels romantic in the best possible way. Then we took a slow stroll back to our hotel to collect our overnight bags, and on the way we discovered this amazing building. Just imagine how green and lovely our cities would look if we could do this with the facade of every building. We had a couple of hours to spare before our train, so we hopped back on the metro and headed towards the Notre Dame. And it was lovely to see her looking so well after having a very difficult few years. Be prepared for tourist trap shops galore and a lot more people in this area. After admiring the facade of the Notre Dame, we took the metro at Châtelet back to Saint-Lazare. And I always recommend leaving yourself plenty of time before the train home. So that was our little 24-hour escape from Normandy to Paris, from Saint-Lazare to the Eiffel Tower, crepes in the gardens, the Arc de Triomphe, perfume drifting along the Champs-Élysées, ice cream beside the Louvre, sunset walks by the Seine, and a gentle boat ride before heading home. A reminder that you don't need a week in Paris sometimes. 24 beautiful hours are enough. And if you enjoy discovering France slowly and living well here with me, I'd love to have you back for another adventure. À bientôt!